Hello everyone, and welcome to a special edition of The Big Picture. Chad Stahelski's newest film, John Wick 4, has finally hit theaters, and it already caught a body. Show me Keanu Reeves asking for a gun, I'm buying a ticket. Make a movie as good as John Wick 4, and I'm buying a second one. At this point, everyone knows what you're getting into when you go to see a John Wick movie. You're getting the best stunts in Hollywood, Keanu Reeves being badass, and at least one death that'll make the entire audience go, "Oh!" John Wick 4 does this at the highest caliber, perhaps some of the best cinematography and set design in the series with some of the coolest action sequences, and Donnie freaking Yen is a blind assassin. But first, let's talk about everything but John Wick. Scott Adkins plays the German assassin Kila perfectly. At first glance, he's a massive dude in a purple suit with gold teeth clinging desperately to his inhaler. Next thing you know, he's throwing roundhouse kicks and professional wrestling style clotheslines. A perfect mini-boss with a haunting, wispy laugh reminiscent of Mark Hamill's Joker, Adkins deserves praise for assembling one of the most punchable characters in the franchise. Rina Sawayama's theatrical debut was awesome. Wielding a bow, a knife, and the ability to do the splits mid-fight, her character Akira is someone I hope to see more of in the future. Ian McShane and Lawrence Fishburne both bring a charming charisma to the film as two of the series regulars. Fishburne's grandiose vocal delivery as the Bowery King will always be awesome, with McShane's vodka-smooth tone adding a level of class to the chaos. Shamier Anderson as a tracker called Nobody was a great modern cowboy in a film full of influence from the Wild West. While he may have had some of the weaker action sequences of the newly introduced assassins, his dog and revolver were still fantastic to watch. And if you don't clap when his dog pees, I'm sorry, you just don't like fun. But that Wild West influence takes shape in much more than just a dude with a revolver. These acoustic guitar strings accompany some of the finest gunslinging in film and put a huge smile on my face every time I heard it. But back to Wick. Reeves, now 58 years old, put an incredible amount of effort into this movie's stunts. Paying homage to Bruce Lee in an action sequence is no easy task, yet Reeves whips nunchucks around with grace in one of the series' most engaging close combat scenes to date. While his acting will always be a point of criticism, his jagged delivery honestly elevates the series for me. He's a goddamn badass who delivers headshots more frequently than one-liners. The few times we do hear him speak adds to the tone of a series that knows exactly what it is. A cheesy banger. They never take themselves too seriously, and that helps keep the experience fun every time a new one comes out. But man, this movie is brutal. A dude gets shot in the knee with an arrow, and with his knee pinned to the wall, gets shot in the face with a gun and immediately falls back. His knee's still stuck to the wall. It's awesome. My favorite sequence in the entire franchise happens towards the end of this film. I've seen some people call it the Hotline Miami scene because its top-down view is straight out of a video game. And adding in the Dragon's Breath shotgun rounds, again, straight out of a video game, added a wow factor that made the scene that much more enjoyable. The sound design elevates the action, and that production team deserves credit. The cracks when a neck snaps, the crash when someone's thrown into a car, and the thud of a body flopping onto the concrete makes the impact of each hit that much more ooh-worthy. But it's not all peaches and cream. I love Bill Skarsgård, but he didn't completely sell me on this one. It constantly felt like he was just trying to do too much, and it didn't quite translate. For example, there's a scene where he stabs someone in the hand, and as he leans into that character's face, he starts using some Heath Ledger Joker mannerisms for some reason. Granted, the point of the character is to be hated, but he was just unsuccessfully French and annoying more than anything. And while the action is absolutely awesome, they set the bar very high. And by the time we see the third, fourth, or even fifth time Keanu hip tosses a dude into a moving car, just isn't as cool anymore. It felt like a writer's room was assembled for cool action ideas, but they used everything that was on the page. I'd rather they give me more than less, but scenes like the Osaka Continental could have been trimmed a little bit just to help the movie flow better. The intention of a movie largely determines how I criticize it. So I hold John Wick to a very different standard than I would say Darren Aronofsky's The Whale, because The Whale takes itself seriously without a hint of self-awareness. With that being said, John Wick 4 gets a solid 9 out of 10 from me. Some of the series' best action to date, some of the coolest characters we've seen, and they've set a new bar for action films. And I'll say the same thing I said during my live tweeting of the Oscars. We need a Best Stunt Performance category expeditiously. Stay tuned to StateHornet.com for everything Sac State and even another edition of The Big Picture. Take care, and I'll see you next time.